Yo, this is a Q&A video. All right. Question 1. How long does it take for you to get in a rhythm while taking photos? I think what the question is how long does it take to get into the zone? And you know, some days I never get into the zone. Some days it just never happens. Some days, right when I get off the train and get into the city, I'm already in the zone. I take like 20 shots in like 20 minutes. So it really depends. There's no hard rule of it takes like an hour or 30 minutes. Every day comes with ebbs and flows, and you know, you gotta be able to identify when you're not in the zone and identify when you're in the zone. That way, when you're in it, you can make the most out of it, you know? No hard rules. It's just when you're in it, and get as much as you can. I feel like it's an Eminem lyric. That's my answer.
So while you're in it, try to get as much shit as you can, and when your run is over, just admit when it's in its end.
All right, so the question is, what's the first thing you look for in a photo? Desmond Harrington, by the way. Look him up, Desmond Harrington. He's on Instagram.
Person's face, probably.
Yeah, the face. So the face is your trigger?
Yeah, face, character.
Yeah, for me, the first thing I look for, I think it's just something different. I think it's just like taking a catalog and inventory of like everything that's going on around you, and then when something is like, oh, that's different or that doesn't fit, then that kind of catches my interest. And then my mind goes, oh, is that photo worthy? And then if not, then I move on. And if yes, then I keep thinking about it and then try to make a picture. And then if there's time to work on it, we'll progress. And then,
or if there's a sea of activity, that's the only other thing. Like if you see a bunch of like people, like heads kind of all moving together and all that,
yeah.
I like that a lot too.
Like a busy frame?
Yeah, like a busy frame, whatever.
Yeah, I like that too.
Skaters, if you left items, the lace up or lace down areas.
Okay, yeah. All right. Good question. Thank you. Next. It's Matt Bright here. Next question. I've got two guests for this one. Rob and Scotty. All right. How about this one? How do you keep from being bored? How do you keep your practice fresh?
I would say keep up with photo books. Try to shoot with people on the street. They definitely could inspire you to shoot more. Sometimes you just need to relax. The right time will come. Can't rush inspiration at times.
Stay fresh? Bro, just take a trip to the Nike store. Read the slogan.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
The last Q&A, so, you know,
I stay consistent.
Same advice, stay consistent. How do you keep from being bored? I don't. Sometimes I get bored. Like, to be honest, especially like on those especially in the wintertime. When wintertime when it's like mad slow and you're just walking around, it's like there was nobody around, you get real bored.
Talking about tier lists.
That's the thing. One thing to keep from being bored is have people to walk with, like Scotty was saying. Last winter, it was me and Rob, and we made the stupidest conversation up, and we literally talked about that conversation for like a week.
Yeah.
Like we would like talk about the same question for like a whole week because there was nothing going on. And occasionally we would take photos, but you know, how do I keep it fresh? Look at photo books. Stay off of Instagram. Don't get your inspiration from Instagram.
Right.
Stay off of Instagram. Look at photo books.
Watch paulie.b's videos.
And subscribe to the channel.
Shameless plug.
Photo books and just keeping at it, man. Like you just got to know that you're not going to be inspired all the time. I feel like inspiration has to find you working. So you got to be out here working. Once it hits, it'll hit, and you'll just be in the zone. Hopefully. I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know, man. In your opinion, who are some street photographers that are killing it / defining street today?
No, I don't even remember the shadow guy.
What shadow guy?
The shadow guy, dog.
What shadow guy?
Bro. I don't know, dude. I don't pay attention to what anybody's doing today.
That's true. You don't have Instagram?
I don't have Instagram. I don't like look this shit up. I don't buy no fucking zines, no fucking brand new photo books. I just do my own thing.
So Rob's answer is nobody's killing it. Or somebody might be killing it, he just doesn't know.
Yeah. I'm a hater, but I'm not hating on whoever's killing it.
Yeah, so to Rob, who knows? Who cares, essentially?
To be determined. We'll find out in 10 years, bro.
For me, who's killing it, and who's defining it? I think the easy answer for who's defining it in our generation is Daniel Arnold. Like sometimes I see images that he posts and I'm like, how the I feel like there's some magic that you have to have. Often I see a photo of his, I'm just like, what the fuck? And it makes me want to quit. Most of the time I see people post street stuff and I'm like, oh, I can imagine seeing stuff like that. I feel like often when he posts stuff, I'm like, I have never seen anything like this happen ever.
Just the fact that there's so many off-brand Daniel Arnolds tells you a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I feel like who's killing it is a different question. Like, who's killing it? Kazu. Kazu's killing it. Kazu hasn't taken a day off in like 8 months. So I feel like dedication, he has passion for it, he's killing it. Who else is killing it? Whoever's out here all the fucking time.
Yo, if you disappear in the winter, you're not killing it.
Well, who's killing it? I would say shout out to Kyle Miller. It's my boy right there. I love the San Francisco photographers because it's always about New York, but gotta show them some love. Andrew Snapped is pretty good. I think he's from Canada. For a while, I used to love Troy Holden's work. He's another one that's not a direct answer to your question, who's killing it right now.
But he could be defining it.
But yeah, I feel like he definitely set the standard. What's really good work?
Go follow those people. All of their Instagram handles are on the screen. All right, next question. Bougie.
Favorite city to shoot outside of New York City?
I want to combine this, so it's favorite city to shoot / do you have any dream cities to shoot in?
Mine would be San Francisco in a heartbeat, outside of New York.
Your favorite, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You have a dream city?
Dream city, maybe Paris, but I've never been there.
Ah, Paris. Yeah,
A
that's a dream.
romantic, huh?
Yeah, you're a romantic.
Hey.
Scotty the romantic.
Why SF?
Yeah, why SF?
Well, I was there last year, May, loved it. I thought it was pretty much sort of similar to New York in terms of the bustle, and I shot a lot too, and it just vibed with me.
Or was there anything like in particular about SF that kind of was just like, oh, this is definitely not New York, and it's like its own?
It has both similarities to New York and differences, but one thing I liked about it was the grittiness. Plus, it was really beautiful too. So I just thought it had a bit of everything, just like New York does, but it just has its own flavor because it's California.
And then why Paris?
Well, I've never been there, but I just feel like I just have this idea that it's just going to be a great place to be out there in general. Also, some great photographers from there, the legends, quote unquote. I just feel like that adds an element too. Why I want to go there, and plus it's Paris.
Rob?
Oh, that's easy, LA, because I'm from SoCal. And then Dream City, I don't know, maybe Tokyo. Tokyo seems like it's pretty dope, pretty
That's a
crowded.
good answer.
And if I get bored, at least there's cute little anime all over.
LA, obviously, because
Basically hometown turf.
yeah, it's your hometown.
Which is more interesting to me. It's a more interesting mix, especially if you're downtown. It's a more interesting mix of people. Like it's definitely harder to shoot than New York, which I actually think makes it more interesting. If it's more of a challenge, you take it more seriously. There's less opportunities. You're more likely to pounce on an opportunity. Whereas right here, you see something across the street and you're not feeling up to it, you're like, you know what, there'll be something 3 blocks down. I feel like you have to be a little bit ballsier. You have to be more on point, and it just forces you to take every opportunity that presents itself and just try to make something out of it.
Tokyo? Any reason Tokyo?
Pick up some Japanese. If you want a deeper answer, it's just, I can't think, like I said, maybe this is just like the ignorant American in me, but I can't think of a culture that's just so completely different from everything.
Right.
So it'd be cool to just see something that's entirely different from like what I'm used to. And it'd also be interesting to see the similarities.
Yeah. For me, favorite city to shoot street in other than New York City, I want to say Chicago just because that's kind of where I started, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart. It doesn't quite have the bustle that New York does. It does in certain regimented times of day, or at least pre-pandemic. I haven't shot there since the pandemic, but before it was like rush hour in the morning, rush hour in the evening, and then you kind of have to find where people are. I definitely have to say Chicago just because it kind of like, that's kind of where I got my start in street photography. Dream city, I wanted to say Tokyo because when I was there, I wasn't really focused on shooting street, and I want to go back there just to, you know, really hone in, do photography exclusively. But I'm gonna say Manila. That would be a dream city for me to shoot in right now. I feel like ever since my Lola or grandmother passed away a year ago, like that's something that I've been like wanting to do, is go back to the homeland and kind of see places that she went, or go to like Quezon City, which is like just outside of Manila. That's where she lived, and kind of just like take photos there, see the people, and explore the culture in that sense. So I think Manila / Quezon City is kind of like currently a place that I want to fucking do. So that's my answer. Was there another question you wanted to answer?
You should tell people not to ask stupid questions. Let me see this shit. Why is your camera black?
Someone asked, why's your camera black? And let me just say, you can't just ask things like that.
Yeah, it's affirmative action, bro, clearly.
Come on.
Yo, come on.
All right, so this question is, where can I drop off film in the city? And the answer is Gelatin Lab. They got 2 new drop boxes in New York City. One is in Manhattan in the West Village. The other one is in Brooklyn, in Boerum Hill. They're both located inside Cafe Kitsune. Go hit them up. Use the link in the description. If you're in the area, go try them out. Use those drop boxes and get your film developed and scanned at Gelatin Labs. Yeah, I know I put that one in there, but back to the real questions.
What are things you did to build confidence when shooting on the street?
Honestly, 2 things. One thing, you just gotta do it. It's repetition, right? So it's like, how did Steph Curry get good at shooting threes? He shot 1,000 threes a day, or whatever that number was. It's just repetition and practice. So just get out there, get in front of people, look at people in the fucking eye when they walk by you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like don't like just cower. You have to like be confident in being in front of people and getting in their way. When I first moved here to New York, I would literally just stand in the middle of the traffic and like let people like bump into me, and I would like just be in their way purposefully just to get my boldness up and my confidence up in terms of like getting in front of people. So I mean, just repetition and, you know, just be comfortable getting in front of people and being in their way.
One thing I would add, I think if you truly love street photography and the work you do, I think that pulls you too, because you have an idea of what type of work you want to create. So that in itself, that you're actually making things too, that you enjoy seeing.
Yeah. What helped me, especially shooting in downtown LA, is I forced myself to take pictures of people who look like they would fucking hit. Don't recommend that for everybody or for most people.
Yeah.
But when you take pictures of people like that, like taking pictures of regular people is just like, they're not like, you learn what you can and can't get away with, who you can and can't get away with, and you realize that most people aren't going to do anything.
You guys ready to move?
Yeah.
All right, next questions. See you soon. New question. The question is, what's the end goal? Is it a book? Is it gallery work? What's the end goal? I'm gonna ask these guys first.
Yeah.
This is Cisco. Oh, Cisco joined us. This is Cisco.
Yeah, the end goal. I'm not even thinking about the end goal right now. It's just straight up progressing my eye and hopefully come out with a book. You know, maybe tap into a gallery here and there, but for the meantime, I'm just, you know, trying to just perfect my eye.
I would say literally the exact same thing.
You can hold it.
There's no end goal. Photo book would be great. Like even after that, it's just a work in progress really, and sharpening my eye. And overall, just going with the flow, having fun with it. I think that's what really matters.
I guess the end goal is make a 1 out of 1 book, because like I really just do this shit for me. So it's just make a book whenever the fuck I want to sit down and go through these images, and hopefully it's something that I'm proud of. Just to see, it's just kind of like just looking back and it's just like, yo, that was a waste of fucking time. Or just to go back and look and just be like, yo, that was crazy.
For me, the end goal is not a book. It's not a gallery. I think those are good things to do, to have under your belt, to experience, to create. But I'm kind of on the same page as these guys. Like there really is there's no goal, right? I think if your end goal is a book, that's kind of like saying a musician or a rapper or a musical artist, their end goal is an album. Who puts out one album? I think the end goal is like the whole body of work and being able to look back at what you've created over a lifetime and essentially live your life through that medium and enjoy it, because you know it's not about the end. It's not about something about the journey. How do you say it?
It's not the destination.
It's not about the
destination, man.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, man.
Yo, somebody.
It's a marathon.
Yeah, it's not a race. Wait, that is a race.
Right.
That is a race. A marathon is a race.
Yo, somebody give this man a so he can come up with a better analogy.
Yeah.
Wait.
We're back with another question. This time I have another friend. He's got long hair and a beautiful face. Ooh, thank you. Let's go sit over here. Oh. There's a wet spot next to Dustin. All right, Dustin, the question is, how have you noticed your style change over the years? Any specific catalyst for this change?
Yeah, my style has changed a lot, but I guess it also hasn't. Catalyst for a lot of the change that I've experienced is looking at other photo books, specifically photo books that are like not street photography. I think it's gotten me more interested in non-street photography, which I think probably translates some way to street photography as well. But
yeah, it all goes somewhere. For the people out there, is that why you don't have any street photography photos on your Instagram account?
Okay, I'll answer that. I still have street photography, it's just on a different account. I feel like I wanted to differentiate the different styles of work, and I don't know if it was a smart idea or not, but I just wanted a different place for everything, so it felt cohesive within its own lane.
I actually just watched a YouTube video about like growth, like growing YouTube. There was this conference of YouTube creators with everybody had over 3 million subscribers, and like the guy who's behind the YouTube algorithm basically said you should create separate channels if the intended audience is different.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, because like, you know, everybody who likes street photography isn't somebody who likes portraiture. Like,
right.
Those can be two different. It could be the same. The core audience is likely different.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes sense.
What's your answer?
My answer? Yeah, my style has definitely changed over the years. I feel like when I first started shooting street back in like 2014, 2015, I quickly got into like the silhouette-y, chasing light, graphic kind of street photography. And that quickly changed when, well, two things. I met two photographers in Chicago, Chris Plunkett and Amato. They were very like the way kind of like what I shoot now, but in Chicago. And we're gonna pause for a second because of this great ambient noise that the city provides us. So I met Chris and Amato, and they initially got me thinking about shooting differently. So that was kind of one catalyst of it. The next big catalyst was moving to New York. I feel like New York City lends itself to like a specific kind of street photography. Even I feel like people who don't shoot this way, when they come here, they tend to shoot this way.
Yeah.
Because it's right. I feel like India also has like its own, like Mumbai has like its own specific style of street photography. And I feel like New York is kind of similar in that way, that like there's this hustle and bustle, people are always moving, and meeting people like Dustin when I moved here, or like meeting people like Voss or Chris Vicente, really catapulted me into like trying street photography in this style, whatever you want to call it. I guess we can call it like Roderick-esque, something like that. This next question is, do you ever see yourself splitting creative custody with digital? Essentially, do you see yourself shooting film and digital? I've been thinking about this a lot this year specifically, since it's the last year, I hope, correct me if I'm wrong, of the whole fall back. So it's still gonna get dark at like 4:30 in the afternoon. And when it gets dark like that, it really restricts the way you can shoot with film. You have to, if you want to shoot with film, you have to use flash. And I'm okay with using flash. It's the way that I use flash when taking photos. It's different. I'm way more selective in the frames that I take when I'm using flash, and which leads to me not taking as many photos as I would if there's enough ambient light out here. So if I had a digital camera, I can continue shooting the way that I would typically shoot by just cranking the ISO up to like 6400 or like 112,000 or whatever the next step is, and still have usable files. So I've been thinking about getting a little Fuji X100V or S or whatever they're on, and seeing if that's an option for me this year or this winter. We'll see. But yeah, I've definitely considered shooting a hybrid film digital, especially in the winter months, because it gets so dark so early. Next question. If you never picked up photo, what would you be doing instead? I feel like I've always been like somebody who has a lot of hobbies. Photography as a hobby just happened to turn into something that I love doing all the time. And if I wasn't doing photo, I feel like my hobbies would probably cycle. I've always subscribed to the idea that you should have 3 hobbies one, like a creative hobby, a physical hobby, and a hobby that makes you money. So like before photography took up so much time in my day, my 3 hobbies would be, I would flip shit on eBay. Photography was like the creative hobby, and then bouldering. I used to climb a lot, so bouldering was like the active hobby. If photography never like evolved to what it is today, like photography would either still be there, or it would be videography or drawing, something creative, and then I would continue with bouldering and stuff like that while working like a 9 to 5. I'm gonna shoot for a little bit, and then we're gonna hit a checkpoint and answer another question. Will your street work reach a peak at some stage, or will you forever be able to get bangers? I mean, inevitably, I feel like it'll reach a peak depending on how you define peak. Every artist has a peak. Think about like your favorite musical artist. There's some kind of consensus or some kind of thought of like where that guy or where that artist peaked, or painter or photographer. Everybody has their own peak. I'll have a peak. I'll at some point stop making consistently good work as seen by the general public or the art community, and that's fine. But I don't think it'll stop me from taking photos. I think once I pass that peak, I probably won't know I passed it, and I'll just keep rolling downhill with my camera in hand taking photos. As long as I'm still, liking what I'm doing while taking photos, and that's cool. And will I still be able to get bangers? I mean, in like 30 years, in 20 years, in 10 years, whatever, however many years it takes for me to get past my peak, I don't care if they're bangers or not, I don't care if they're bangers or not right now. As long as, I'm kind of liking and being satisfied with what I'm doing. Maybe they're bangers to me. Maybe they're not bangers to you. All right, we're going rapid fire. I'm just gonna go through as many questions as quick as possible. All right, favorite photo book? I don't know, there's so many photo books. It's hard to pick one, but maybe Spanish Harlem by Joseph Rodriguez. Summa Lux, Summicron. I'm shooting with the Summicron, but I mean, I would like to shoot with the Summa Lux, or at least try it. Will you be getting the new M6? Unless someone gives me one, I'm not gonna drop $5,300 on a new M6 when you could just buy a working, perfectly conditioned one for way cheaper than that. You could buy 2 M6s, maybe not in the best condition, for like the same price as a new one. So I'd rather do that than buy the new one. What happened to your Panda? It's getting serviced, so it's getting a CLA. If you don't know what a CLA is, look it up. It's basically just, servicing the camera, like an oil change or something. How many dollar slices do you eat in 1 week? Like, I probably eat $1 slice every other week. I typically go to like slice shops where the quality is a little bit higher, but it's like $3 a slice. When are you coming to Tokyo? At some point, maybe in the near future. What camera strap is that? This is the Gordy camera strap. So they have like neck straps, wrist straps. This is like the neck strap. And then I think this is like the small, like extra small option. You can kind of select different sizes. This is like extra small. Best shutter speed to shoot street. I like shooting at 500th of a second. I know some people that shoot at 250th. I can go down to 250th, but I feel like anything below that, you start to see a little bit more motion blur, especially like when things move fast. So if I can, 500th of a second or 250th if the light is low. Can you drop Filipino photographers that's on your radar? My boy Marco Chan, and then my boy Mark, I think it's right now his Instagram handle. He just changed it. It's like Mark Can't Sleep or something like that. Also, this photographer Lawrence, he's a portrait/fashion photographer. I think he just shot something for Vogue Philippines. So check them out. 28 or 35, 28 all day. Although I might be shooting with the 35 soon. Favorite holiday to photograph? Christmas, because it's like a whole month. 24mm versus 28mm. Big difference? About 4. Ever tried media format for street photography? Yes. Any plans for a book, zine, or other tactile media? Yes, I've got a zine coming out, hopefully by end of the year. It's gonna be a Coney Island magazine, and I'm documenting the process, so follow along, subscribe to the channel, and all that stuff. I just started the process. I dropped a video a couple days ago, but yep, zine coming soon, and then maybe more zines after that. This is my first one, so who knows. Best beginner street camera, probably like the Fuji X100 series. Dream photographer, pick one living, one dead for an episode of Walkie Talkie. I feel like I talked about this on a Walkie Talkie, but maybe Helen Levitt, and then Joel Meyerowitz for living. Keep it up. Thank you, man. I'm trying. Are you from the DMV? Have you done much street photography around there? Yes, I'm from the DMV. I was like born in Maryland. I kind of spent like the first 10 years of my life in like Southern Maryland, and then Northern Virginia for like 15 years, and then I moved to Chicago. But yeah, I haven't really done that much street photography around there. I think the only time I've really done it is during like the Cherry Blossom Festival last year, and I did a video on it, so go check that out. Which one would you choose between M6 and M11, and why? M6 all day. I feel like if I was to choose a digital camera, I wouldn't choose an M11, man. I would probably go with like a Sony or something. If I'm going digital, I want all the bells and whistles, you know. And like I feel like, or Sony or Canon, I feel like they're like the best in terms of like mirrorless technology. And if I wanted to shoot like a Leica, maybe like a Fuji with an M mount on it, so I can use the lenses. I don't really have any desire to shoot with an M11. What are you doing with your wave runners? Get on Twitter. This isn't a question, but it says get on Twitter. I see your videos tweeted all the time. It's kind of a weird time for Twitter right now, but I'm on Twitter. Here's my Twitter handle. I just haven't used it. Feel free to tweet me, tag me. I don't know how it works, but like you can tag me in tweets. Maybe I'll start tweeting stuff soon. There's all these questions. It says, how do you make money with film? How do you even afford this? How do you afford film? How can you afford to spend all that time and money on film photography and live decently? Well, the honest answer is that
Now when they see us in the streets, all they want to do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.